Welcome to Papercraft Central. Would you like to know how to make these cute little butterflies? They're featured on my site under paper butterflies, oddly enough. I've had a few requests from people about how to make them. So I thought I would show you how on this little video. Here's a little tiny one. Okay, so as it says on the diagram on Papercraft Central, you need a circle and a square. Now you can use a paper punch like this, and I've just punched a circle out of a this one is a 1 3/4 inch circle punch, and then I've cut a 1 3/4 inch square. You'll know it's the same size because the circle will fit neatly into the middle of the square and the edges will just all touch. Okay, and the next thing you need is some Tombow multi or other strong glue that will adhere paper well, and you just stick the two edges of one corner of the square to part of the circle, making sure that you have about equal distance on each side covered up with the circle, so about the same length here as here, so you've got a similar length on each side. Okay, now I'm going to set that one aside to dry, but this is how your pattern should look when you've glued it together, and this is going to make your butterfly. These points are going to become the points of the wings. See how the wings are pointed? Those are the points of the wings. It actually winds up being this way up, and the rounded part is the bottom part. So let me show you how on a slightly bigger circle so you can see better. Here I've glued together a 2.5 inch circle from my 2.5 inch circle punch from Stampin' Up, and I've cut a 2.5 inch square. So now my butterfly looks like this. So the next thing I want to do is to start folding my butterfly from the point at the bottom, and I'm only folding a couple of millimeters or about 1/4 of an inch. I've just folded the corner up and I'm going to accordion fold it back. It doesn't really matter what size pleats you choose. The finer the pleats, the flatter your butterfly will wind up being on a page or on a card. For example, these little pleats are very, very fine, and it's a much flatter butterfly than the larger ones where I've taken a larger pleat. Okay, I hope you can see that. Just continue folding back and forth the same width that you chose to start folding until you have the whole butterfly folded up, including the circle part. So you're aiming to get a nice straight stick of folds in the end. I glued this one a little bit earlier so that it wouldn't fall apart while I was while I was demonstrating it to you. But this is just the whole thing that you do is just fold back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, including over the join. Pretend it's one piece of paper. In fact, the little template I have on my Papercraft Central page shows you a circle and a square all cut in one piece of paper. So you might like to do that instead of using separate pieces and folding them together. Nearly there. See how it's becoming a stick? I'll show you in just a sec. A second, I should say. That's an Australianism, saying show you in a sec. Okay, so now it's a flat stick with 2 points on either end. See that? And what I like to do at this point is get my bone folder and really give those creases a good press. The sharper they are, the nicer your butterfly seems to look. The next thing you need is a piece of wire, or in this case I'm using baker's twine. You could use thin ribbon, or you can use thread. And all you do is you look for the point where you started. That's going to be the top of your butterfly, like this. So put the knot at the top of your folds where that point is. So when you tie it together, make sure the knot sits on top, because that will actually allow you to turn these into antenna, or just make the hang the butterfly from the top of the butterfly. If you want them to hang facing down, well then put the knot in a different place on the sides. Just make a good tight knot there so that it now looks like a piece of paper that you've just tied in the middle. Okay, now the magic happens. The next part is just unfolding what you have already folded. Now carefully, because you can tear it at this stage. It's just designer series paper that I've used these. I've cut the circle and the square from. But just spread them out. Actually, it's easier if you pick it up and spread them out. And see how I've got half a butterfly now? I've just spread out my folds and created half a butterfly. So do it to the other side as well. Pull it up. Give it a little pinch in the middle. Hold it there while you unfold the other. Now I've got that a little bit off center. So the good thing is you can flatten it out again. Move it along a little bit further and unfold again. So there's no mistakes that you have to live with if you've just got it slightly off center. Okay, the butterfly is starting to take shape, and I nearly have a butterfly done. There it is. Okay, so because it's designer series paper, it will have a different pattern on the other side, of course. And when you let it spin, if you want to make a mobile for a child's room or something like that, you'll get both sides of the designer series paper showing. Some of them I've actually put back to back. So this one I just flipped the circle over to show the other side. And in the one I showed you of the smaller butterfly, I've made my own designer series paper by using one of the Stampin' Up! Ink rollers. So this one will be quite plain on the back, but it will have some pattern on the front. Okay, I hope that you can see how to make your own paper butterflies now. And when you do, I hope you'll show them to me on papercraftcentral.com. Thanks for watching.